Designers and Builders, where design meets construction. We explore groundbreaking trends and talk to the pros reshaping our spaces. For your dream home, workspace, or just great design inspiration, subscribe to Designers and Builders.
Hello, welcome to today's brand new episode of Designers and Builders. I'm your host, Alyssa Olson, and today I'd like to introduce Mike Riddle, owner and CEO of Riddle Construction. How are you doing today, Mike?
Great. Good morning, Alyssa. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us. Really excited to have you. And let's dive right in. You're into custom home building. How'd you get there?
Well, it's an interesting story. I'll kind of take you back to the beginning. So when I graduated high school, I started to work for a custom home builder. So every break, during the summer and holidays and such, I'd work for a custom home builder doing the physical labor, none of the brain work or whatever, but realized that, boy, this is a really tough industry. And I'm going to stick with my other career, which was actually sports medicine. So I graduated with a sports medicine degree, but also wanted to have a parallel path of teaching. Like I said, I love to coach. I loved, sports medicine. So I became a certified athletic trainer. I did that at the high school level along with coaching baseball, but I taught elementary school and I loved it. It was a great combination. I'd still be doing it today if I could actually afford to be a teacher. God bless all the teachers. They just pour their heart out for just such, mediocre pay. But anyways, the reason why I got into the industry was because my wife and I wanted to start having children, and she just really had the passion to stay home and raise our kids. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's figure out how we're going to do that. She was also a teacher, and I figured, well, I have some construction knowledge, so maybe I'll just start a construction company and do a couple of remodels a year, just enough to kind of make up whatever her income was. And that just kind of flourished over the years. So I started in 2002 and did a couple of little remodels. Then I built some new construction homes because that was most of what my experience was high end luxury new construction back when I worked with the other builders. And then 2008 hit, and that was really, really tough. Still built some homes in 2008 and 9, but then between the market and I had just a really unfortunate lawsuit that kind of just completely wiped me out. Ended up having to file bankruptcy. We lost our home. We lost all of our investments. Lost everything. Had to live in rentals for several years. And I worked with some friends, and we worked on like repossessed houses, like changing locks and mowing grass and getting rid of rotten garbage and picking up drug needles. I mean, whatever it took to feed the family. Did that for about 3 years, and then was just fortunate enough to be able to start another construction company and build basically my first custom home. Everything else I had done before that was all speculative, and had a great client, turned into another one. And it was just a team of moi. It was just me. And I now have, so that was like, I think I restarted again in, let's say 2011. So that was 15 years ago. I went from just a team of one, and now there's a team of 17. So we've continued to be blessed with just a great list of clients and trade partners and other, professionals like architects and interior designers, to where we have systems and a culture in place that attracts that luxury custom home and remodeling market. So we're very, very fortunate to have pulled out of that and have a lot of great people around me. But that's a history. That's where we came from, and that's where we're at now.
That's incredible. And also, what an irony to have your home taking care of you, but your home is what you help provide for other people.
Yeah, certainly ironic, but it's kind of the way of things. And honestly, awful as it was, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And the reason I say that is because I think as adults, we all know that the hard times is usually what produces the best results and the most deep connection and the deepest roots. And that's what it really did for me. I'm a better father. I'm a better husband. I'm a better business owner, just a better person. I felt like I wasn't overextended. It wasn't something that I necessarily, oh gosh, I had 10 spec homes and I got caught, with my hand in the cookie jar. It was just horrible economy, bad timing for a lawsuit. that was really nothing, but it was like I didn't have any money to defend myself. So it just kind of had to like surrender it. But through that process, it was really just humbled to a new level that, gosh, I don't ever want to go through that again. But at the same time, it brought me to a place in which I am today. I'm the man I am today because of that opportunity, and um, certainly am grateful for all of that.
That's incredible. Such a good perspective and just transformation that happens that you obviously wouldn't have volunteered for.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely not going to volunteer for it, but I have a different perspective now with conflict, and we try to be so proactive in everything that we do with communication, with forward thinking on processes to help minimize, conflict, but we deal with humans in a variety of different ways with human clients, human trade partners, and then we're dealing with, man-made materials. Sometimes it's, if it's wood or if it's whatever, and so there is an element of aligning our expectations that has to be massaged in a way into where everybody understands that we're not dealing with perfection. This is not a perfect world, but yet we are gonna control the things that we can control. And then the things that we can't control, we're gonna have a plan for how are we gonna deal with this together. So for example, if we're talking about a an expectation about how the drywall finish was going to be on a particular a custom home. Instead of just doing it, hope they like it, we're going to do sample boards. We're going to have 4 or 5 different things of like, okay, well, this is what a level 4 smooth wall looks like in residential construction. And there's really light orange peel, whatever it might be, but we're doing things to try to stay ahead of issues. But when they do come, we also at the beginning of a relationship, we say, this is how we're going to deal with conflict. We're going to talk about it like adults and we're going to come to a solution. And I feel as though our team is really good at that. We're not perfect. Our trades people are not perfect. Our clients are not perfect. And so instead of just avoiding it and hoping it doesn't happen, we kind of just like, I don't know, maybe rip the Band-Aid off from the very beginning and say, hey, we're getting we're getting married in a sense. We're going to be working together and spending a ton of money together, and not just money, but it's your time, your emotions, your future, how you're going to live and breathe every day. So let's treat it like a relationship and let's be open and honest with each other. And if you're experiencing frustration, we want to know about it because that's the opposite of what we and we can't always guess or read your mind. I mean, certainly the dating process or the courting process is not as long as maybe we would typically do when we get married. But that process for me is I've been married to my wife for almost 28 years. So it's been a long time ago since I've like dated. And so anyways, it's that forethought, that planning, the proactivity and aligning expectations is really critical, I think, for the success of our business, but then, other businesses as well.
Yeah, there's just such a strong correlation between these foundations of trust, communication, and healthy relationships that you've translated into business. And that's how you operate. I just, yeah, really respect that process. And I think there's a lot of lessons you just shared that are translatable across all scales of operation, whether someone's in construction or design or any industry or life.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think where we're at now with serving, affluent clients who most of them are, they're either retired or they're still in the business and they're business minded folks. They've worked hard at whatever profession they were in or currently are in, and they're not necessarily hiring Riddle Construction based on um, the ability to do what they want to do, right? So they've already vetted us. They've looked at our website. They've looked at our social media. They see that we build high-end homes. They see the testimonials. That's kind of like the level playing field, right? We've already got past that part. And what they're looking for is they're looking for a team, a person or a team that knows how to think critically. They know how to solve problems. They know how to be proactive in the way in which they deliver information to me, let's say me as a client, to where I can minimize the amount of time, stress, and anguish that they have over making decisions by bringing in a team full of experts. So whether that's picking paint colors or tile or how to style the home at the end, that's going to be the interior design team. If it's structure, because they want the outside to feel a certain way and how it ties into the inside, that's going to be the architects. And then in terms of how to put everything together and to sequence and communicate, that's the builder. That's the three-legged stool, the magic stool of success that clients are looking for. They know that we're qualified. They want to know, can you think? Can you think critically? Can you give me more of an advisory type of a relationship versus, hey, I'm the builder. I know what I'm doing. Just write the check and don't say anything. Just trust me. Of course, there needs to be a level of trust. Absolutely. But I think our clientele really wants to be advised on how, if it were your home, Mike, what would you do? Well, this is exactly what I would do. And here's why. I built hundreds of homes, and I just know that what you're asking or what you're thinking about makes sense. But I'm just telling you, practically speaking, on, let's just say, for example, on the Oregon coast, it's not going to work. And here's why it's not going to work long term, because of A, B, C, and D. And that's what they're looking for. They're not an expert in this. They're an expert surgeon or an expert, whatever they are. They're not an expert builder. So they're paying for our experience, our advisory role, our expertise. Um, and honestly, it's really fun. It's really fun to be able to share with other people what it is that we do and why we suggest and advise on certain things. And once they understand that, that level of trust just comes, because they know it's been done before and they know why it's being done. And then they understand the value, they understand the price, they understand the reasoning behind things. Why is it taking longer? Why is it more expensive? Why is it this or that or this? And so there's a reason why we're educating our clients in a way in which they feel like they've been fully schooled in why they're doing what they're doing. They're not just writing blind checks because it looks pretty. They're writing it because they see value. They know why things cost how much they do. And they're willing to invest in that, or at least have the opportunity to say, yes, I value this more than this. So I'm willing to put more over here than I am here. But they're being advised on how to do that properly. And ultimately, they're still in the driver's seat. But that's what's just so fun about what we do and are able to create with clients.
Yeah, kind of painting that big picture. And then once you do that and agree to it, all the pieces just fall right into place. Whether, hiccups aside or whatever might happen in the process as it naturally would. And that's something that stands out to me too, is just looking at your website, every single project is unique. It's custom, it's truly tailored to these people's their dreams, right? And
Uh-huh.
that's such a personal thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, like how else does that kind of come up in your process? Like, are you with your clients, your team? How do you kind of tailor that? Because I also know you work from the coast inland to the Willamette Valley. Seems kind of like your region. So can you touch more on that and your kind of craftsmanship?
Yeah, I think it all starts off with listening. I have a Zoom call tomorrow with a client, and they want to do, on the intake form that they filled out on our website, the amount of information that they're going to give is just limited. And so I reply back, I'm like, hey, I'm really excited to hear more about your project and your dreams and your thoughts for what it is you want to accomplish. So tomorrow, I'm going to have that conversation, but essentially it starts with that initial conversation of listening to their dream, listening to their heart, and then asking specific questions to kind of extract the type of information that I really am getting to. Because sometimes I have people that we talk to initially, and they're like, well, we want this to be this many square feet and we'd like this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms. And I'm like, okay, that's all awesome. But tell me this, how do you live? Is it just you and your spouse, or do you have 4 kids, or do you have 4 kids that are older and they each have 2 grandkids? And so you need a cool bunk room. So let's talk about your lifestyle. What's important to you? Is size important? Is function? Is location? Is accessibility? So really listening to what it is that they want to do from the initial intake or the initial conversation. And then from there, what it does as part of our process is that we look for that let's say a three-legged stool. Sometimes I use a chair analogy because it has 4 legs, but depending on what the scenario is, typically it's a three-legged stool. So it's the builder, meaning one, the interior designer, and the architect. So I've been working really hard to try to develop relationships with other like-minded architects, interior designers. Sometimes it's the same company, sometimes they're separate companies that have the passion to listen to what our clients want and be able to create a bespoke experience, not just the building itself, but the actual experience that the client will actually go through. And then I put that team together. We initially have a meeting where the clients get to converse with the architect and the interior designer to make sure it's a good fit. They may have they may get a weird vibe where they just, hey, I just don't think this is a good fit, or I don't feel like they heard me. And if they didn't hear me during the first meeting, I'm not really confident. So that's okay, because I'll have other relationships. And it may be that we're interviewing two, maybe three, it just kind of depends. But my goal is to be able to hit a home run and be able to introduce them based on my listening skills to the right team for the first time. But again, ultimately, if the client's going to be writing a big check to both of those people, they want to be able to feel confident and excited about their team. The team is just, if it's just the one leg, it's a little loosey goosey. So that's the process that we take our clients through to get a very clear understanding of where they want to go. And a lot of the times they just have ideas they've seen on TV or their friends or Pinterest or whatever it might be. And it's our job to kind of listen and take all that in and get them to that very, I guess, perfect scenario of creating a masterpiece that's specific to them. And, I have some stuff that it's just like, that's not what I wouldn't have painted that purple, or I wouldn't have had, 9 colors in my house, but hey, that's what you want. That's awesome. And it doesn't matter to us. We want you to be excited about the investment that you're making, and that having a very detailed process is critical to make that happen.
For sure. And to really get to the core, I feel like that's what you're doing is you're just digging as deep as you can to get to that core essential piece of what your clients want so that you can find the right team and deliver that and execute it at the highest possible level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I liken our experience with our clients to be very educational, informative. So with my educational background, I'm certainly not teaching elementary kids. I'm not teaching high school kids or coaching kids, but it's still, and we're us adults, we don't know what we don't know. We know a lot more than obviously kids do, but we don't know what we don't know, especially in a profession that we don't have experience in. So it's so important for us to be able to be good listeners and to understand and be able to explain clear and concisely why we do certain things a certain way, things that they don't necessarily have as many, um, inputs on. For example, like the type of lumber that we're using, or the type of, like, I use CDX sheeting, I don't use OSB. And here's why. Costs more, but here's why I believe in this. Or I use this product over this product because of this reason. And they're like, I don't care. We just don't want it to fall down, or we want it to last. Okay. But the pretty stuff that matters to them, they want to have a lot more say in that. And then we also are able to kind of go into those situations like, hey, you know, Carrera marble is amazing. I just have to have you understand that, boy, if you leave a glass of red wine and it happened to have a little bit of stuff over it and you left it there for a couple of days, it might etch your slab. And you just have to be okay with that. Or if you have like a living lacquered brass finish on your, let's say, plumbing fixtures, you just have to know that it is an unlacquered, it's a living thing. It's your fingerprints and oils on your hands are going to kind of tarnish things differently. So it may look shiny right now, but in 2 months from now, it's not going to look shiny anymore. And in a year from now, it's going to look completely different. And you just don't know that until you're in this business. And that's what's so fun, is to educate clients about certain things. And they're like, don't care. I like that look. That's what I want. Awesome. But you knew that because you were educated and you made an educated decision, not just well, I saw it on TV and it looked really cool, so we're just going to do it. It may work out, but it may not. So that's why we're here, to be the experts.
For sure. And how do you translate that across your team? Because it seems like it'd be really important for everyone on your team to be educated in this manner. So how does that work in your internal process?
Yeah. So in the internal process, we have standards. So we have so there's like a standard operating procedure, but then there's also what Riddle Construction does as a standard. So we go through the different categories. So for example, this is what we expect all of our excavators to do when they come on site. They have to do, check all the boxes. The framers, they need to be able to do all this. And some of that is procedural and some of that are actual material. So for example, I mentioned CDX plywood. That is on there. We are using CDX plywood. Or Another example in framing might be we will use dimensional kiln dried lumber if the stud length is 10 feet or less, like a 10-foot ceiling, 9-foot ceiling, whatever. We'll use a dimensional lumber. But if it's more than 10 feet, we are using engineered lumber. So like an LVL, laminated veneer lumber. It's more expensive, but it's also super straight. You get a dimensional board longer than 10 feet, and sometimes it can be a little squirrely. So you might buy 100 of those and only can use 60 of them. Just lumber quality is not as good as it used to be. And so we have to be very careful. So it's sometimes better just to use an engineered product. So that's just an example. When it comes to more like finishes such as countertops and plumbing fixtures, we don't necessarily have like a standard per se. It's more about trusting our interior design and architectural team to choose materials with the clients that they also have good experience with. And if there is an issue, we will typically talk to that partner and just say, hey, we've had a lot of bad experience lately with whatever it might be. And then vice versa, they come to us and say, hey, Mike, when you and your team are doing the envelope, the exterior envelope, how do you like to incorporate, if we're trying to make stone on an entryway, go from the outside and like go all the way through the inside seamlessly with either a window or a wall? How would you like to accomplish that so that you feel comfortable making sure that it's air and water and all those things, the tightness? So this is a real collaborative effort. And it's important for our team to understand what materials do. And it's also important for us to get together and talk too, because what maybe one of my superintendents at the coast deals with is different than what my superintendent in the Willamette Valley deals with, because we don't have the salt and the crazy wind and all that stuff and terrible soil. So we're talking as a team and coming up with not necessarily different standards, but congruent standards that might have different flavors depending on where you're at.
That totally makes sense because it's always contextual, right? And you're going to have
Yes.
different teams. And so it's like kind of collaborating on that, just the execution of it and how you're going to do it specific to that place.
Right.
Yeah. And a quote that I love from your website is, it takes hands to build a house, but hearts to build a home.
Yes.
I just love that. I feel like that's part of your design team process. It's part of your client engagement. So, and I'm curious, I know that you have a lot of emphasis on craftsmanship, and even just talking about those like exterior to interior transitions. There's so much detailing, and sometimes there's material shifts. Uh, yeah, I just find that really fascinating that you're in that level of detail and those conversations all together.
Yeah. It's a cultural thing. It has to start from the top down. And the person who is in charge and casting the vision, which is me in this case, is saying, hey, yes, of course, all the other things that we've talked about so far, client experience, expectations, those are all paramount. And again, that's also setting up a culture. But then the other component is of setting a good culture is craftsmanship. And it has to be and, not or if. It's like, and the craftsmanship has got to be just as good as the process is for listening and vetting and collaborating and all those things. So it comes from, this is what we do. And when we are in a project and we're finishing a project and we post things on the internet, we get great feedback. People look at it. I take prospective clients through maybe a home that's in construction. The team, my team, my Riddle construction team, as well as my trade partner team, they just have a level of pride and excitement that they feel like they're part of something special, because that home is unlike any other home in Oregon, regardless of what the price is. Is it 1 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 20? It doesn't matter. It's unique and it's specific, and they got to be part of something bigger than themselves. And that's exciting for all of my trade partners. They just love being part of the team that does really cool stuff and creates really happy clients, which then refer us to other people that we can then continue this process. hmm Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm so fortunate and so, honored to be, yes, I'm the leader of the team, but I am a part of the team. So it is fun to get up and do what I do every day. And the pay is a lot better than teaching. I love teaching, but the pay is just a little different. And I get to do things that are, I think, just as impactful. I mean, impacting youth is a huge deal, but obviously helping our clientele be able to invest in their health and well-being, because then they can invest in other people's health and well-being, is really fun to be a part of.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're still teaching. It's just a new format, different audience, let's say,
Yeah,
different.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so then also, so your work, so I know you do new homes, you do remodels. I saw there's a little teaser of some maintenance coming soon. Can you
Yeah,
talk more about that?
absolutely. Uh, Here's the thing. We build a lot of really nice homes for folks, and they're typically a a vacation home or a second home. Sometimes they're primary, they're because they've retired and they're moving, and this is where they want to be. And the Oregon coast, if you haven't been there, Alyssa, it's pretty cool, and it's becoming more and more temperate climate. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, boy, it seems like it rained every day. Now it's nicer there than it is in the valley a lot of the times. It just doesn't get the extremes, it doesn't get the snow very often, and it doesn't get the 100-degree weather that we might experience in the valley. The the predominant theme was, I want to go and I want to be able to just enjoy my second home. I don't want to go there and have to go from one set of to-do lists at my primary residence back in wherever to another, home where I have a bunch of to-do, like, I got to fix this, I got to fix that, I got to maintain this. I get here and it's like, it's not this or it's not that. And when they invest a lot of money, they want to go and they want it to be a respite. They want to go there and they want to experience the home and it's the nature around them to its full extent, because they may only get a week or two or whatever it might be. And in addition, even that some of the clients that have a desire to do that and they understand it needs to be, they don't want to do it. They don't want to get up on the roof or clean their gutters, or they don't want to try to navigate hiring local contractors when there's not very many of them to then create meetings and, okay, well, you can show up here and you can show up here. And now they're a project manager essentially. And they just want to go and enjoy their home. So I'm like, hey, how can I be able to provide a service to my clients that helps them to enjoy their space more? And in addition to that, be able to provide an additional income stream. And in addition to that, be able to, once I branch out and I'm not taking care of, like, say, new construction homes that I built, and now I'm working with other homeowners with homes that have a deferred maintenance, and maybe the house is 5, 10, 20 years old. How can I and then actually take business and funnel it back to the remodel side of what we do with Riddle Construction? So the company I created is called Mantle and Manor, and it is a separate company. It's still owned by me. We still integrate our same systems, our same people. We have a software program called Nines Living, and it is a very high end, kind of like a house manager type of a platform where the client has their own portal. There's pictures of every room. We update it with report cards. And so our service is subscription based, and we do some things quarterly, some things biannually, and some things annually. Things like replacing filters in appliances, and replacing filters in HVAC, and cleaning gutters and cleaning the roof, and making sure all the caulking is perfect everywhere and there's no critters getting in, and all the things that it takes to maintain a home is one pillar. The second pillar, lifestyle. So it's like, do you want to hire your own lawn maintenance person, your own pest control, your own window washer, your own this, your own that? You certainly, absolutely, you can do that. And if you want to, then that's no problem. We don't have to do that. Or we can hire our trusted people to do that. And then we charge accordingly to that house. Every house is different. The third and final column is what I call more of the hospitality side. So it could be flower arrangements. So do you want that weekly, monthly? Do you want it just when you come because you really love fresh flowers? Do you want us to decorate your porch for the different holidays? If you like to come on Christmas, do you want to have, a certain theme set up? Do you want to have us to do your Christmas tree? You want us to put up Christmas lights? Whatever it might be, once you become our maintenance client, we are there to be able to help you maximize your lifestyle in your investment. And so the company we started late last year, we've already got, I think, 5 or 6 people signed up, and it is working. It takes a while to kind of get the word out. Obviously, a lot of my clients are signing up. And then, of course, I have homes that are in process where, like, yeah, absolutely. As soon as we're done, let's sign up. So that's where we're at. It's really exciting. It's something that is a parallel business but it's yet still separate, same values, same people. our clients are really excited because they just get to show up and they just get to breathe. They don't have to, they just know everything's taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wish I had that for myself, just
Right?
like
Yeah.
take the other things like out of mind so you can spend your energy on the things that you really want to do. Like I really appreciate you're not just a builder of homes, you're building relationships, you're building around people's lifestyles, and this maintenance is a really good example of that.
Thank you. We think so too. And your comment is like, me too. Gosh, I hate doing this and doing that. It's
Yeah.
just, when you're in a big metropolitan city, there's a lot more options. There's a lot more contractors. There's a lot more this and that. So, but when you're in a remote area like the coast, it is a lot more difficult. So it is, I think, just wise to be able to invest some of your hard earned dollars to be able to then give you the opportunity to enjoy that view more or that hike better or then whatever experience it is. You can just fully immerse yourself in that and know that somebody else is taking care of your investment.
Yeah, part of what they are investing in is that peace of mind, and you offer them a whole package deal
Absolutely.
for them. Yeah. So, and I love that you found this gap, and this opportunity, and you built this whole infrastructure around it. So I guess riddle me this, Mike.
Hmm.
What else what else do you see as gaps in the industry, or are there other things that you're thinking about plugging into
Yeah.
solutions?
Yeah, I am. I think a couple of things. Okay. So first, that I would say is a relatively easy transition is getting into the commercial market. Now, I don't mean libraries, hospitals, multifamily buildings, none of that. It's more of small boutique, bespoke type projects that are congruent with our, current like luxury brand, I guess, if you will. So it could it be a spa or it could be a small boutique hotel or it could be, something like that. So we're working towards that. That takes a different set of trade partners usually. But yes, we're working on exploring that and we're trying to foster opportunities, but we're not, it seems like right now there is a real need for people who want to do commercial, but on a smaller basis and more personal and more fine tuned and more refined that you would experience in, let's say, a spa versus just boring, plain four walls and paint. And, then you go and make it look good, right? Like you see in a lot of commercial buildings. So we're exploring that. The other thing, Alyssa, that I feel I see more of a trend, and I wouldn't say this isn't a recent trend, but I'd say it's at least in what I'm remembering, the last 5 to 10 years, is that people are starting to spend their resources on experiences. And that experience could be a vacation, let's go to Italy or let's go to New York or let's get in a vehicle and go to all the state parks or something like that. So people are investing their time and their resources in experiences. And sometimes those experiences are locations as well in a home. So resort communities like, let's say, Central Oregon has a kind of a resort area, like Bend is a town, and then obviously several areas around that. There's areas like Sun Valley, Idaho, or there could be other places like Park City, Utah. So we are exploring opportunities to invest in other areas where we can take our expertise and our team and our systems and then integrate that into a local community of trade partners. So we wouldn't necessarily bring our trade partners, but we bring our system, our reputation, and our expertise to a new area and then partner and collaborate with local experts in that area to be able to create new experiential places for clients to go to. Because some of our clients have multiple homes and they want to be in certain areas like, hey, we really want to ski here, be part of the ocean here, but we have a condo in this city because that's kind of where we live and work. But we want to escape to the mountains, or we want to escape to the ocean, or escape to the high desert and do this and that and this and so. So that's what we're really trying to focus on is experiential places, and not necessarily get out over our skis and get too far away, but keep the same core thing of what we do and partner with local people who can actually make it happen to create, multiple opportunities for experience. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing other people doing, but they do it in different ways. Like how many 20, 30 years ago, how many conversion vans, or I'm not even sure what you call them, but how many did you see? Like hardly any, right? And if you did, it was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Now it's like, seems like every 10 or 20 vehicles seems like a conversion van that they're using for camping or whatever. They've taken like those Sprinter vans and tricked them all out, or the Mercedes vans and tricked them all out. People are wanting experiences. They want to get out and live life, and it doesn't have to be expensive. But if it is, then great. They have options too.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like Chris Farley, 30 years ago, it's like, oh, a van down by the river. And now that's the dream. It's like, I want
Absolutely.
the river over here. I want this river in Australia.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we follow on Instagram. It's like, do you have an extra spot in that van?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think I would like it for a few days, but I kind of like some breathing room, and I like, but the cool thing about it is that they're getting a change in scenery however often they want. Like every day they could get a change in scenery. It is certainly a lifestyle. Not that I'm going into conversion vans. Don't hear me there. It's more of the concept of wanting to purchase experience, maybe less purchasing other things, whatever that might have been. It's a shift, it's just trend that I'm seeing in my own life. And like, for example, my wife and I talked about, well, do we want a second home? It's like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool, but yeah, but we got one kid in New York, one kid in Montana, one kid's going to California for college, and then we've got a high school kid, and then eventually where they're going to go, and then where are the grandkids going to be? So we're talking about, well, maybe we could go spend 3 weeks in New York when we retire, and then we can go to Montana for 3 weeks, and we can bounce around to have experiences versus being tied down to one place where we're only going to this one house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It goes back to designing that lifestyle and you're thinking about it for yourself.
Mhm,
I feel like
mhm.
I feel like, yeah, the term American dream comes to mind. It's just like, that's what that is. It's like, how do you maximize this experience? And we have such beauty around us and you're doing it for your family, for your future. I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm passionate about it, when other clients talk to me about their passions, I'm able to not necessarily jump in and say, well, I would do this, but it's more like, awesome. Tell me how I can help. Tell me how I could, maybe refer you to somebody, or to help, brainstorm a little bit more, whatever it might be. It's fun. And for me, and I'm passionate about it. And that passion comes out when I'm talking with clients, whether it's about their specific home, or whether it's about how they want to experience this particular room, whether it be like a wellness room, like a spa or sauna or something like that. It's really cool, even to get down to that nitty gritty, and not just the overall perspective like we do most of the time.
Sure. Yeah. All the levels of things from the details up to the grand experience of life.
Hmm. Hmm.
You cover it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, so you've gone from athletic training, coaching, teaching, custom luxury homes, soon to be more maintenance, more boutique hotels, spas.
Mhm.
What advice would you have for others or for a younger version of yourself?
That's so good. I think about it actually often. And I'm getting more opportunities to kind of be on podcasts and talk to other people. I'm very involved in the Home Builders Association, both nationally and in the state and local. And so I do get to talk to other young professionals. I think the biggest thing for me has been the ability to foster and maintain relationships. And it's this business to me, and I think every business, to be honest, I am a relationship builder. I just happen to be a house builder as well, or be in the construction industry as well. But to me, in any industry, being able to create and foster relationships is absolutely paramount. It's the foundation to be able to creating trust and awareness and referrals and income and all of those things. And not I do it because I get those things. I do it because I actually really enjoy people. And I would say when I was younger, I was a lot more of an extrovert. I think if you had a lot of people, they'd still say I'm an extrovert. But as I get older, I'm probably leaning a little closer to being an ambivert, to where I still need some time by myself to recharge. It's maybe just not as much time as, let's say, an introvert might be. But being able to take who you are, whether you're any of those labels or not, introvert, extrovert, ambivert, and being able to foster relationships that provide value to other people. If you focus on that one thing, I believe that a lot of other things fall into place very easily with limited effort. And then I think once you've got really good at that, then you you start honing in on improving and perfecting and enhancing all those other things, whether it be, your processes or your SOPs or your HR or whatever it might be in your business. The first thing to me is really about relationship building, because I'm not going to go out and build a house. I certainly have. I can, but it is really hard work, Alyssa. I mean, I used to pour foundations and tie steel and, be up on 30-foot tall roofs and, hanging on with 1 foot and trying to nail something. And it's fun, rewarding, but it's really hard work. And there are certain people that love to do it, and there's certain people that want to have other skill sets. And what's just so fun about this is getting everybody on the same team doing what they do best. But really, it all comes down to relationship building. It really does.
Yeah, incredible. Well, thank you for building your relationship with the designers and builders community. This really enjoyed this conversation. There's so many life lessons to unpack here,
Mhm.
and I hope everyone really lets that sink in and takes it away. So, how can people best connect with you, Mike?
Yeah, I think the best way is through my website. So it's www.riddleconstruction.co. And the next way is on social media. So my Instagram is, at riddleconstruction.co. And I obviously, of course I have phone and all those things, but the website can direct you to all those things. Instagram can obviously, Facebook and TikTok, I just cross post amongst all of them. And something else I'm starting, Alyssa, is that I'm going to be part of the Build Bar community. And what Build Bar is it was started by a gal in Minnesota. And the idea is just if a homeowner they just want to talk about their cabinets, or they just want to talk about, hey, should I even be building a house? Or they just want to talk to an expert that's disconnected from their, other people, and just kind of get some expert advice. And so we book 55-minute consultations. And then that's it. And if you want more, of course you can. But if it's just, hey, should I really be using this paint color? Or should I really be worried about micropiles, or whatever the thing might be? So I'll have links on a website and all that kind of stuff. I'm just starting that process, but that Build Bar community, it will be another way in which you connect with me, even if we don't even build a house together.
Awesome. Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely gonna check that out. You're gonna have at least one new Instagram follower.
Yes.
Hopefully, a whole trickle effect from there.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. This is so lovely. Appreciate the conversation and hope you have a great rest of your day and weekend.
It was a pleasure. You too, Alyssa. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mike.